So I just finished reading A is for Alibi by Sue Grafton. So I listened to the audiobook, so I'll just put a screenshot here as opposed to holding up the book since I just listened to it and don't have the physical book with me at the moment. But anyway, this is the first book in her alphabet series. Now the fact that there's an alphabet series, that's kind of fun. I think that's her most famous series that she did. And so this first book was from 1982. So I'm going to talk a little bit about it, what I like, what I dislike, and I'll avoid any major spoilers, at least for a while, and I'll let you know if I'm going to have any spoilers at some point later in the video. So, so what about this book? Does anybody care? How popular is this book now, 40-something years later, or whatever? So A is for Alibi. The only reason I ever heard of this book was because of a board game called Dark and Stormy Night, where you have to know the first lines of books or name the book or the author after you hear the first line. So I decided to read it, check it out. So A is for Alibi. So we're introduced to a detective, a woman named Kinsey Milhone, who is a detective, I guess, or a private investigator or something like that. And she is thrust into this situation and has to investigate and figure out who done it, because there was a murder. There are actually a few murders that may or may not be related, but there was one main one, and she was hired to figure that one out. Because this one lady gets out of prison, and she was put in prison for this murder, but she didn't really do it, I guess, is what she's saying, and that's why she's hiring someone to investigate it. So what about the book? Is it any good? Is it worth reading, etc.? So in summary, a few key points, and then my overall takeaway about whether I like or dislike this. So if you like mysteries, there's a lot of little details to kind of sift through in this book. They started to run together a little bit. Like the writing style made it so the characters and the details of the case kind of got all jarbled, and I sort of lost interest in the mystery or the case. But I know a lot of people liked it. It was popular for some reason. Maybe because it was a female heroine and there weren't as many back then, or there could be other reasons. But I basically found the writing style to be a little boring. That's my big takeaway. The heroine or the main character is kind of cool, but I don't know. I mean, just the way she goes about her business gets a little repetitive or whatever. Was it predictable? Maybe a little bit, but not completely. There were definitely some twists here and there. The other characters all started to kind of run together in my head, and I thought the writing style was a bit bleh, basically. So I read the book. It wasn't super long, but I wouldn't highly recommend it or anything. And spoiler alert, actually I don't have any spoilers. I won't tell you how it turns out because I don't have too much to say about that. But it was just slightly interesting how at the end, mild spoiler alert, how the murders that may have been kind of related turned out to be not as related or whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my takeaway about A is for Alibi, with Kinsey Milhone investigating a whodunit about a man who died after taking a pill that was a capsule that was replaced with poison. That's not really a spoiler because you find out at the beginning. So who done it? Who done it? I'll tell you. Just kidding. All right. So not my highest recommendation, but if you want to see some books that I am a little higher on, check out some of my other book reviews that I've done, because there are some of them that I do really like. This is just not at the top of the list. And we'll see you next time.